Yo, 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 what going on YouTube, man? Today, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this, but Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. If For those of you that don't know who Charlie Kirk is, he's a pretty well-known speaker, what some may consider to be a very controversial voice when it comes to stuff like family and values. Well, today he was tragically shot and killed while speaking at the University of Utah. I just want to talk about what this type of situation represents for us as a people, as a society, as a culture, where we are, what it means moving forward, what it represents, the dangers of a society so divided that someone could be targeted specifically for speaking their truth. In a country where we're supposed to be able to have freedom of speech, we're supposed to be able to go out there and speak what we believe to be our truths, even if you don't agree with it. When it comes to this content, a lot of what I've seen has been, the clips on TikTok, scrolling through YouTube Shorts, and just like anybody, there's a whole bunch of personalities and creators and influencers out there that I've heard their content and I listen to them. Some of the things I agree with, some of the things I disagree with. The same way how with the presidents, like Barack Obama, Donald Trump, there's things that I agree that they've said and there's things that I disagree that they've said. I think it's important to be able to have objectivity and to form your own perspectives. I don't inherently hate anybody. Even if they said things that I don't personally agree with or it aligns with my values, I'll proudly speak against it. I think that's our right. Here's the thing. In order for society to change, right? In order to progress anywhere or to grow or to move forward in any direction, it requires you to have the ability to sit down, one person with this view, another person with this view, opposite sides of the fence, but to sit down and be able to have an uncomfortable conversation. Because that's the only way you're going to find a middle ground and move forward at all. You have to be able to sit down and have those uncomfortable conversations. Hear the person out, they hear you out, maybe you argue a little bit, maybe you go back and forth. That's the right that we're supposed to have living here in this country. We're supposed to have the right to be able to speak our mind. Freedom of speech. It don't matter what the person is saying you 100% disagree with. It is still their right to say it. Now, I don't know everything he said, but I've seen a ton of clips of him talking about abortion and family and values and Israel and genders and the trans community and all of these different topics that are very much polarizing right now. And like I say, there's things that I agree with and there's things that I disagree with. But there is nothing that that man has ever said that justifies or warrants someone killing him. Period. There's no version of him saying what he's been saying that's like someone needs to go out there, take a gun and end his life. That man is a father. 31 years old. He's a young guy. He have kids, 2 young little kids and a wife. I gonna keep it real. When it comes to family values, the family unit, things that's being attacked and broken down in today's society, he spoke a lot about that. We've gotten way, way, way off track when it comes to relationship. Things that used to be radical and outrageous are now considered normal, and things that used to be considered normal is now radical and outrageous. We live in crazy times, and as a country and as a society, we are so divided. It's almost like as if you have to pick a side. You either lean on the left or the right or wherever you want to call it. And if you on that side, then that side is the enemy. And that's the problem. You can't ever expect the other side to understand your perspective if you automatically categorize them as the enemy. If your mindset is that you're a victim of the other side, they're the enemy and you must attack them, you're never going to have progress. You're just going to be at war. And this right here, this is an act of war. Let me tell you what's crazy about this here. You know what's going through everybody's mind right now? Is either one or three things are happening. Is either this is an individual acting alone, some radical that probably didn't agree with his views, and they say, you know what, time to take him out, and they ended his life. Or, some going to say, is the left, radical left, and they went and they killed this man, and they didn't agree with his trans rhetoric and all of that stuff, and they kill him. Some people going to think this is the right, and they orchestrate this whole thing to make him seem like some kind of martyr so that they can make it seem like the left did it. Like, people are going to be divided even more. Situations like this just highlight the type of division that we have as a society and as a culture. The things I speak about in this channel, right? I'm trying to get men back on track. Not just in relationships, but in their masculine frame, in masculinity. Being the best men that they could be. As a society, we need more men to step up and speak their truths. But here's the problem now. When stuff like this happen, it's going to condition people to be afraid of speaking their truths. Because when you speak up and your voice gets too loud, and you rub the wrong people the wrong way, or you trigger the wrong demographic or the wrong group of people, people are going to be afraid that if they do that, there's a risk of losing their life. It's almost as if you have to go out there now knowing inherently that you run the risk of offending somebody and somebody going to take you out. And that's a big problem. Because is there really free speech now? If every time you go out there and speak, there's a fear of consequence, of that severity, do you really have free speech? Sure, you could go up there and speak your mind and speak your truth and, offend whoever you want to offend. But then there's the fear and the consequence that you might get shot in the neck. Speaking publicly at an open campus, surrounded by kids, by the way. You're surrounded by students. That shooter could have missed, could have taken out a kid. He hit the target, but the fact that happened. And like I say, whether you agree with him or not, Charlie Kirk, He stood 10 toes down on his beliefs, on his core values that many people wrestle with today. Family, masculinity, purpose, a lot of the things that I'd be speaking about on this channel. This channel wouldn't even exist if people wasn't already struggling with those concepts. And he was standing 10 toes down, sticking to his guns about his beliefs on these subjects. And even if you didn't agree with everything he said, you have to respect the realness. He had the courage and the confidence to be able to stand up on a public ground and speak his truth. Killing someone for their beliefs ain't just wrong, it's a danger to everybody, man. And we can't let this tragedy suppress us from having bold conversations. We can't stop progressing forward and having difficult and uncomfortable conversations. I can't imagine what his family going through. My prayers go out to them. All I hope for is that wife and them kids have a support system around them of close friends and family that really care about them and going to walk with them through this tough time, and that they could get the resources they need to get through this and push forward. I don't know how they're gonna do it. All I can do is send my condolences to his family. It's such a tragedy. It's such a messed up thing to happen, man. I was in the gym today talking with a bunch of my boys, man, and everybody was just like, they can't believe it. It don't matter what side of the fence you on. It don't matter what your views are. You just can't believe that that man ended his life for the principles that he stood on. Listen, a lot of people in 2025 sick in the man's head. I ain't gonna really get into all the politics and the views and the different ideologies and stuff, because that ain't what this video about. This video is about a man that unnecessarily lost his life, that left a family, a wife, and kids around, that stood his ground confidently and spoke his truth about important things that we need to have conversations about. As a society, we are going way too far from the things that make us human. I'm gonna play the clip real quick, and this shows some of the incident. I don't know if I can play the whole clip because I don't know if they won't copyright me, but let me play some of this clip here so you can see the incident itself. And I just warning you, some of this are graphic, obviously, he was shot, so I think they're gonna blur it out. You're gonna see crowds running and stuff, so it's a little sensitive, if you want to see that, you can fast forward in the video, but let me play it for you real quick.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Oh my God. Go, run. Whoa.
Counting or not counting?
Look how much people were there. That man should throw a whole bunch of kids to kill this man because they don't agree with the views that he was saying. They don't agree with the things he been saying.
Oh my God. Go, run. Whoa.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
What the fuck?
You guys okay? Hey, what do you say?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. I wish I could find an Instagram page, man, but I see somebody post saying, rest in peace, brother. And a whole bunch of comments were just like, yo, what do you mean, brother? I'm unfollowing this page. Like, yo, someone just dead. Someone just gets shot and killed. A father, a husband gets shot and killed. And because this page say rest in peace to someone's views that you don't agree with, you looking past the fact that he was killed. And your first reaction, your first comment is, I want to follow this page. That's how close-minded and limited that we are as a people right now. That man might have had his opinions about, Israel and the war and trans people, pro-life or wherever. But let me tell you something, right? A lot of the traditional values that made our families whole once. Masculine men, feminine women, a nurturer and a mom to the children, and a provider and a masculine man that shows up and protects his family. I used to hear Charlie Kirk speaking about that all the time. Them is things that we strafing way too far from as a society. And I ain't afraid to say it. And the fact that they kill him, it makes me feel like he was saying something right. And let me tell you why. When you get a voice that's loud enough and you speak enough truth, people will get scared. The people that want to control us and manipulate us and have us in fear and have us divided and separated and women and men going against each other rather than working together, making the men more feminine and women more masculine. The people that want that environment to be the environment that is our reality, they get scared when people speak up and speak the truth. Like I say, I don't really know too much about the politics when it comes to the war and Israel, and I could have my own opinions about the things that he talked about that were outside of, relationships and those values. If he was alive and I had the opportunity, I would stand up here and I would tell him the things I agree with and the things I don't agree with. Open debate. That's what free speech was designed for. But all it makes me feel like is he was saying something right. Something in what he was saying was right. Maybe not all of it, but something in there was right. And it rubbed the wrong people the wrong way. I don't 100% agree with nobody. I watch Jordan Peterson. I watch that same Sadi Khan girl stuff. I'd watch Fresh and Fit. I'd watch Abba Preach. I'd watch MTR. I'd watch all of these different reaction channels, these different conservative channels. There's a few liberal channels out there that I'd watch. I'd watch a lot of these interaction channels like Jubilee and stuff. I always like to listen to perspectives. I've heard a lot of things to me that sound crazy. Listen, I don't agree with it. It just ain't my cup of tea. I ain't a fan of it. But no way in my mind am I thinking I want to take that person out, or that person don't deserve to be alive, or they ain't a human, or they don't have a right to feel that the way they feel. That's supposed to be our God-given right. To have your own soul, have your own mind, have your own views. So the fact that they take this man's life, man, because of his views, is a sad day. I hope they figure out and find whoever did this. I know they said they had a suspect, and then they said they let someone go. I need to update myself in the details, because while I'm here making this video, I know that the information is still fluidly changing. I just wanted to get this video out while the information was still fresh. For those of you that do follow my channel that might not be aware of the situation, don't let the world scare you, man, from speaking facts. And I know I ain't gonna stop talking. I hope that those of you that are watching this, man, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I hope that you could have an open enough mind to be able to hear different perspectives, form your own opinions, intellectually, logically, not just from things that you're hearing or rhetorics or ideologies that from a mass mindset. I hope you're able to find your own voice inside, your own reasons why you agree or disagree. I'll have a conversation with you. I welcome it. Listen, I get kind of wild comments on my social media sometimes with some of my shorts and my videos. I's a misogynist, I's this. And I'll just be like, yo, why are you so triggered? Okay, cool. Let me hear your point of view. Specifically, tell me exactly what it is that you disagree with. And 9 out of 10 times, they can't even voice it. They can't even tell me the thing that they don't like. They really don't even know why they don't like it. All they're telling me is a lot of people in mass mindsets. It's like they're plugged into the damn matrix. It's like they're trapped in a simulation. They don't even know why they're angry. I hope those of you that watch my channel, man, if there's anything that you get out of it, man, is you have to find purpose. You have to find your own individual beliefs. You have to form your own truths, your own opinions. If you don't like what somebody's saying, man, hit the unfollow button, hit the unsubscribe button. Do what it is you gotta do. But never be closed-minded enough to think that it's okay that because you don't agree with what somebody's saying, that they don't deserve to be alive, they don't deserve to exist. At the end of the day, this is not about politics. Or it's not even about Charlie Kirk, do you like him or not, or do you agree with what he said or didn't agree. This is about freedom, man. It's about the kind of world that we're building for ourselves, for our families, for the generations that come in after us. A world where a man can speak his mind without fearing for his life. Whether you agree or disagree with Charlie Kirk, he had the right to speak his mind. And if we start trying to silence each other through violence instead of conversation, then we all lose. So as men, as leaders, as people that care about the truth, it is our responsibility. We need to step up. We need to stay grounded and create spaces where real conversations could happen. Because if we don't, then the division wins. We become even more divided. One side versus the next. Red versus blue, left versus right, man versus woman. And that's what they want from us. You can't control a society that's united. You can't control a society with strong men, but you can definitely control a society with weak men, with divided minds that you've broken down from within and put them against each other. My deepest condolences go out to Charlie Kirk's family, man, his wife, especially his kids. Regardless of where anyone stood on his views, man, this is still a very heartbreaking loss. This man was a father, a husband, a son, taken way too soon, man. All I can say is I pray for peace and comfort and strength for all of those who held him close and loved him, and anyone that's mourning right now. At the end of the day, beyond the politics and the opinions, a family lost someone that they loved. My heart goes out to them all. I encourage some of y'all, man, to go and look at some of the stuff that he left behind in his videos. You know what I mean? Some of the things that he talked about. Really important topics, like family and values. I think they're important foundations for us as a society, man. So, you know, go preserve the good parts of that man's legacy. Prayers up to his family, man. Thanks for watching this video. And until the next one, man, I'm gonna check you guys later, man. TBL to the world. You done, no bless.